Welcome to Leveling Up with Lindsey, the podcast where we dive into leadership, small business, and everything in between. I'm Lindsey, your host and the proud owner of White Peony Boutique, a space created to empower women, build confidence, and foster meaningful connections. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a mom, a friend, or someone just looking for a little inspiration, this is your space to feel seen, supported, and inspired. Join me as we share stories, strategies, and a little bit of life's chaos while navigating what it truly means to level up in starting a business, relationship, and personal growth. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfy, and let's level up together. Welcome back to Leveling Up with Lindsey. Today's guest is someone I deeply admire, not just because of the beautiful business she's built, but because of the strength, authenticity, and heart she leads with every day. Samantha is the founder of Pure Bliss, a business rooted in care, intention, and connection. She's also a devoted mom of 3 who has walked through seasons that have tested her, stretched her, and shaped her into the woman she is today. This conversation is about rising, not even when everything is perfect, but when life calls you to begin again. It's about navigating motherhood, business, and leadership in the midst of real life challenges and learning how to do it all your own way. Whether you're a small business owner, a team leader, or simply someone in a season of rebuilding, this episode will remind you that you're not behind, you're being built, and you are not alone. Samantha, I am so grateful to have you here. So let's kind of dive into your story.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start at the beginning. For those who don't know your story or who you are or what Pure Bliss is, how about let's give a little background to everybody, starting with you.
Starting with me. So my name is Samantha Jonas. I grew up on a dairy farm in Long Prairie, or just west of Long Prairie. And so got to be raised throwing rocks, throwing hay bales, milking cows, doing all of the fun things.
The farm things.
The fun farm, dirty things. So, but as much as I didn't appreciate that as a child and strived to get away from it, I, as an adult, am ever so grateful.
It definitely
for all those
instilled values. I can see it in your social media with your kiddos, doing it little bits now.
Yeah, with my hobby farm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it's definitely something that I think just in general we've lost a lot of that way.
I agree. I do agree with that.
Getting them and getting their feet in the dirt is good for them. Growing up on the dairy farm, went to Long Prairie High School, went to the Model College in St. Cloud here, and went to beauty school there. Once I was done and completed that, I went off to North Dakota for my North Dakota cosmetology license. And by doing that, then I had reciprocity between both states. So I was licensed in both North Dakota and in Minnesota. I got into a really amazing salon there called Oliveris. It was a really high-end salon. That was something a standard I set for myself. I knew that it's nothing against anybody else. Yep. It's not that I didn't want to work at a Great Clips or a Cost Cutters or any other kind of cookie cutter type of a salon, but I wanted to rise above. I wanted to be different, and I wanted to set a higher standard for myself. From the get-go, I feel like I wanted to be able to provide a higher level of a service for my guests. With that comes education. So
Absolutely.
I got to be a part of a lot more hair shows and just attend a lot of different hair shows, different conferences, things like that, which really I feel like helped level me up in my career.
Sure.
So 6 years ago is when I had the idea of opening Pure Bliss, I guess you could say, or at least when it came to fruition. It had always been an idea when I had worked at GB & Company in St. Cloud for a decade. I had always had this thought that I would be able to open up my own salon. And that was something I think always strived for. I'm not positive I ever thought it would actually come to fruition. I think that's one of those princess dress dreams when we're little and you're like, oh, I'm going to be able to do this. And I'm going to have this fairy tale wedding and whatever. And so I think I always dreamed that I would be able to own my own salon.
It's so crazy. Like as a business owner, you look back, my business is older than 5 years, I guess, but it's so crazy to look back even 10 years ago and to think that where you are now with your salon or, with my personal business, it's something you always dreamed of. I love how you said that, but it is the reality of where things are at now. In the chaos of your busy schedule, sometimes you got to take a moment and look back and be like, wow, it's crazy. Your dream is here.
I'm having a lot of wow moments lately, especially to reflect and think that Pure Bliss was born 6 years ago.
That's congratulations.
Thank you.
6
It
years.
has been a journey for sure. Starting at 6 years ago, I had the vision of opening it in Avon. That's home base, mother base. Yeah. When I had that vision, I had told my husband at the time that if we could make it work with just me and one other independent, that it was going to be worth it. 6 years later, and I think over all 3 locations, there are almost 40 independents.
Wow, that's a lot.
It has been definitely a blessing and a dream.
And tell anyone listening your locations.
Yeah, so Avon was the first, like I said, kind of mothership. And then we opened up in St. Cloud. And actually, that was kind of an interesting fruition as well, because the St. Cloud location is the old GB and Company location. So when that space had become vacant, then I had a friend approach and say, hey, do you want a second Pure Bliss location? And I was like, oh, for goodness sakes, I don't know about this. And he made the opportunity too good to say no. So I am so thankful for that. And it was really cool to be back in that space and to make it my own space, to update it, to make it what I envisioned was something that I could have never imagined. So
I love that.
St. Cloud was number 2. And then St. Joseph was the 3rd location. There was a gal that had come in, had interviewed at my Avon salon actually from what would have been the old Cost Cutter location. And she was like, hey, I need a spot to work. And I was like, what's happening? And then it clicked. And I thought St. Joe would have always been an amazing space to have a salon.
It's great communities that you're in, that's for sure.
I feel very blessed for sure.
So you go from a dream to 3 salons, which is incredible. It's a lot to manage, and I know as a business owner, it is a journey. As a leader of 40 independent sellers, that's also a journey. And you're a mom of 3. So tell us a little bit about the beauty and the chaos of being a mother and a business owner.
It's definitely chaotic, isn't it?
You know,
you can empathize with that one.
Yes.
I did a lot of reflecting on that this morning. The early mornings, the navigating, the mindset. We briefly talked about the mindset this morning, and just the 5 seconds we can get as a mom to be able to think of all these other things, because I think in general our mind is so like go, go, go. But yeah, as a business owner, we're go, go, go. So then you have these 2 worlds clashing and colliding of trying to navigate and coordinate all these different schedules and the things that you have to do. And it is most definitely chaotic.
It's chaotic. It can be very difficult at times, and I know that you would agree it's most rewarding. I think what's so important is even like with business and sitting in, we talked about this, looking back and just taking in the journey that you're in as a business owner. But then what's also most important, even more important, is taking a moment and sitting and being in the moment with our kiddos. And I am lucky to have you as a friend and on social media. So I love seeing your Snapchats of you and your kids with your archery moments or with your animals on your little hobby farm. I think that is so neat. And your silly moments with the kiddos. There's nothing that as a chaotic business owner or someone, you know, you've got a lot on your plate. And so to me, when I have those moments with my children or my family, that like refuels, it almost like sets a reset button in my soul, like in your heart, in your mind and all. It's like, oh, okay, just be. Sometimes you have to really manipulate your mind to like shut off the outside stuff with work. You know that very well. But to be in the moment with your kiddos. But honestly, if there's a day for me at the lake with my daughters in, you know, on the boat or at one of their softball games, I like forget about the rest of the world. And it is my favorite time. Would you agree? Like, what moments are that for you?
I would have to agree. But I will also say I wasn't always like that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. That's a great point.
I will say, and you know, you had asked how to navigate or how I'm navigating that. In the beginning of it all, you try to do so much and you try to be everything. So there were versions of me that I was focused on the salons and I was focused on the independence. And at that time I tried employees and being not only a boss and a wife and a mother and a landlord per se,
Yes.
but I was really getting lost. And when you get stretched too thin, which at this point in my life and through some of the darkest seasons I've ever been through, I now see how I was stretched to every limit that I never should have been, but I'm never going to discount it.
Yeah.
Because without that stretching, without being pushed to my limits and experiencing what I've experienced, I wouldn't be who I am today. And so
The journey.
my kids 6 years ago were very young. I mean, my youngest was 1.5. So there was a lot of sacrifice. And I look back to those first days in opening up Avon, and I have some of the most beautiful memories of them sitting on the floor helping fold the towels and the capes and like just being in the space and helping put it together. We did a lot of the work ourselves, which was so rewarding, but also very time consuming because you try to pinch every penny and to make it work. As a family and as my extended family, we've always done things together and we've always worked together to build things. So that was always a big part of my journey and our journey. But I can attest to I understand where you're coming from with the chaos.
Yeah.
But it is a version of chaos.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
you're navigating it and you're figuring it out.
Yeah, and I think the most important piece here, and 6 years into business, I think for a new business owner or even someone with a new position in a company, a really great friend of mine, Nicole Winter, said, you go through seasons as motherhood as well. And I think I would say that is absolutely okay. Speaking to somebody that is possibly going to open a new business or thinking about it, I would never do anything different. Well, there's a few little things I would do different, but I would start the same. I would go through the hard lessons. My children would be right alongside me through it all. At times, I felt like I was failing as a mom. At times, I felt like I was failing as a friend. At times, I felt like I was failing as a wife. At times, I felt like I was failing as an entrepreneur, trying to figure it all out. However, what's so magical is like putting one foot in front of the other. And how amazing is it that we had our kiddos by our side? And actually what they see, what we've been through, what they've gone through, really has taught them greater lessons than we could probably ever imagine. I'll never forget when one of my girls wrote a paragraph about, I'm going to get choked up, about mom and business. And I was like, and if you were to, as an entrepreneur, especially 6 years in, our kids being younger and growing up kind of in the most important time of their, right? Like I have teenagers now.
And then a tough season.
Yeah, they're busy.
Very.
They're learning. But if I was like, if you would send one of our children to talk to someone, I'd be like, ooh, what's going to come out of that? But having this presentation done from one of my girls and it talking about how awesome their mom is, I literally cried, and I'm going to get choked up, but I cried like a baby because I'm like, that's what matters. They took the really awesome, the good out of it. So what's important to know is let's take it back. I remember being in the most executive part of my career at my past job. And I opened White Peony Boutique. I was working 7 days a week, and I'm sure you can attest to putting in those kind of hours when you open up one of your new locations or started your journey. But I would get up at 5 in the morning. Obviously I've got my little ones, we've got car seats, we've got things, bring them to daycare, go spend an hour at the boutique, go to work, 50 hours there, 50, sometimes 60, maybe more. Then I would come home, get my kids fed, sometimes on the go. We would have them literally come with me to, like, let's say the shed, and I'd work there until I had to go to bed, bring them home, go to bed, work on my computer or whatever I had to do until sometimes, honestly, 2 in the morning. Or my husband would finally get home, put them to bed, and then I'd go back to the shed and work until 1 to 2 in the morning. It sounds crazy, but when you're so passionate about like putting one foot in front of the other, it makes sense.
But like you said, you teach them. We are teaching them to be leaders. We are teaching them that their dreams don't just have to be dreams.
Yes.
These can become a reality. It just takes a lot of hard work and
Yes.
dedication and perseverance.
Yep.
Perseverance was a word for me this morning. Just sitting and reflecting. A lot of times when I wake up in the morning, I do my gratitudes and try to think of something I really want to focus on for the day. And reflecting on being able to have this opportunity and come here, and just the perseverance that it has taken, and some of the parts of my journey that I've had to go through. It coincides with what you said on, you just can't give up. There are going to be seasons when you were talking about new entrepreneurs, there are going to be seasons that are super hard. And that doesn't just go for entrepreneurs. We're talking about moms. We're talking
Absolutely.
about dads. We're talking about friendships.
Yes.
There are seasons
Yep.
in every section of your life that you need to be able to push through. And there are some seasons that just need to be called quits. You need to decide whether or not this is worth pushing forward and you're dedicated to doing it, or if you just cap it at that part of its beautiful season and calling it a day.
Yeah. That reminds me, the word that comes to my mind with what you just said in perseverance and understanding what's working, what's not, pushing through. Honestly, I think, would you agree, over 6 years as a mom, moving in your business journey, boundaries, and I think it comes with a little bit of age.
Oh.
I don't know about you, but I would say there are really hard times. I am trying to be better at boundaries for myself in so many ways, but that's a
I feel like in
journey
general,
itself.
as a human being, we are going to have to continue to work on our boundaries. I was terrible, I'll be honest, at boundaries, especially with being a hairstylist. We are people pleasers
Yeah.
by nature.
Oh, gosh.
And so anytime someone would ask for something at the salon, yep,
done.
got it. Didn't matter, I just did it. I didn't think of the numbers. I never thought of anything. It was, I want to keep everyone happy. I'm going to do this. I thought as the salons grew, the more I did, I thought that I would become more of a joy in my family's eyes and that I would be an inspiration. And I didn't see the detriment it was actually doing. I mean, all of that, has to come together, and you do go through those seasons, and just knowing that there are going to be tough times, but you have to persevere and you have to push through.
Okay, so I'd say you've always been so open and honest about the not so glamorous moments. And if there was one thing you wish more moms, especially working moms, heard more often, is that it?
I think I had made a post on this just recently, but what I would tell these moms, whether you're a working mom, a stay-at-home mom, I did daycare for a little while.
I didn't know that.
So, I mean, at one point I had 3 jobs
Wow.
to make my dreams come true. So I would have to say to these mothers, no matter who you are and what you do, I see you. I truly, truly see you. As a mom, we end our days, or even sometimes we don't even get to the end of our day, and we are so insanely exhausted from the waking up, making our own schedules, to making sure our kids are put together, their schedules are taken care of, and they have everything that they need and ordered, and birthday parties and holidays and birthday presents and X, Y, and Z. I mean, it's just,
The Easter Bunny.
oh,
The Tooth Fairy. We should also make a preface. Maybe if you're driving with your kids right now,
Yeah,
you should
don't.
turn it down. Start when you're by yourself. Like the elf. Okay. We could go a whole nother episode of the
Yeah.
things about being a mom that they don't, not in the fine, it's in the fine print.
it's in the fine print.
But don't even get me
St.
started. with the Tooth
Patrick's
Fairy.
Day, you have to do a leprechaun.
Sorry to
It
cut in,
just-
but the Tooth Fairy thing is my least favorite. I'm just going to throw that out there.
The teeth, all the teeth. I just,
There were times at about 5 in the morning.
you have the moment.
The old
Bleep.
yep,
Can you
bleep
do a
moments.
bleep?
That I took our stairs 10 at a time to run to get
Oh,
that
what
money.
about the elf?
The damn elf. There have been seasons in your life that weren't in the plan, that called for a lot of strength and a lot of rebuilding. Can you share what chapter taught you about yourself, your identity, and what you're capable of?
Yeah, a year ago, literally 1 year ago, my world got flipped upside down. And as a wife at the time, to be shook the way I was and to have the flip happen that happened, it's undescribable. I was actually reflecting with a client yesterday, and I had said, it's been 1 year.
Wow.
And they said, it was hard to watch you go through what you went through. Is it weird of me to say that I was in such a space and in such a survival mode, and my kids were at the root of everything that mattered at that point, that I dropped everything when my world shattered a year ago, when I hit rock bottom? And because of that, I wish I could have seen it through other people's eyes. I don't know what that would have looked like. I mean, I really tried. I think as a mom and as a business owner, we really try to put ourselves together and try to put on this face, and you really try to be someone that people would be able to look up to. And as much as there are things that I would love to share just in the season of, I'll say, divorce, because that's ultimately what is happening, there are certain things I can't share.
Sure.
But I would never wish what I went through on anybody.
As an outsider, a friend, a fellow business owner in the community, Sam, you stand out to so many. You lead with love and passion, and you really, put action and emotion. So without knowing details, as someone from an outside perspective, I wouldn't be so hard on yourself to think, and maybe that's not the right wording, but to see you from a 30,000 foot view, it's not ugly, but you just know, and it's okay to hold yourself, protect yourself a little bit. So when you said you dropped everything from an outsider, you're still, in my eyes, definitely doing it all.
Thank you.
You could just see a little bit of an emptiness there. And it wasn't in your drive. It wasn't in your passion. When you wear your heart on your sleeve for the world, for your business, for your family, when you feel a little broken, and you're usually you are an open person. It's really difficult they say fake it till you make it. Well, you can try that. You can try it, but guess what? Those who love you the most and know who you are, it's really hard to fake it to make it.
Yeah, when my earth shattered a year ago, nothing prepares you for that, honestly.
Yeah.
Marriages have challenges. I totally understand that.
Absolutely.
And I see it. And I've had countless friends and men or women come to me and ask for even their own advice. And I give what I can, and I will tell and I will preach to everyone that you fight for that marriage. You fight for it. It is your vow. It is something that you made a sacrament to each other for, and it is insanely special. There are times that will come that you can no longer fight those battles. And I will say I held on as long as I possibly could and fought as long as I possibly could for that. I didn't realize the depth of shame that I thought I would have felt from having to say I was getting divorced or that I would be divorced. So I remember going to confession with my kiddos, and my faith has become insanely strong through this. And I will say, for anyone going through it, nothing prepares you to pick your children up and to pick yourself up. And, they've had to see me cry more in the last year than I probably ever have cried. And I took that with grace when I say that. Let your children truly see you. As a mom, why do we have to put on this face? We do it for everyone. We just said that, right?
Yep.
We can put on a face for the world, but why? You're trying to teach those kids to be empathetic, beautiful, loving, kind human beings. And if you put on a face, what are you showing them? That you can put on this mask and not truly express who they are and how they feel, and that they have to shove it down. Back in our day, right?
Yes.
It was go to your room to cry,
Yeah.
or whatever. And I tell my kids, please feel your feelings. Please cry.
That.
And I was that mom. I will be completely honest in saying that I was not always the kindest mom. I was not always the best mom, and I wasn't always the best wife. So I have owned what you can call my shit. I've owned it. Yeah. I've accepted it. I threw myself into therapy. I took a massive step back from my businesses. I have amazing managers at the salon that, I think as a business owner, we get nervous and scared to be handing our baby. Literally, it's like taking your newborn baby and being like, here, take it.
Right.
And have them take care of it. And for me to be able to entrust in those women that they've got it. And they have held this up for an entire year, and I am ever so thankful and proud of them. As I needed to transition my focus as a mother back to my children because I needed to heal and they needed to heal. And we needed to work through this brand new season of darkness, but bring it to light. We talk about the rising.
Yep.
And when you asked me about the different topics or themes for it, the rising spoke out to me because I actually, what would have been our anniversary date, got a massive phoenix on my side because I don't want to look at my old anniversary date as a detriment. I don't want to look at it as something that I'm going to regret every day because I never will. My marriage brought me my children. It brought me life lessons. I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to grow from it. And I once loved that man dearly. So he has taught me things that I mean, I'm always going to be thankful for. Was I thankful for what I had to go through? No.
No, is it hard and challenging?
But it's still hard and challenging. And I feel like it shook me so much to my core that I got to become 1,000 times better version of a mom than I could have ever been. I've gotten told by friends and coworkers, I smile so much more. I smile different. I see it in my own photos.
I literally, like, I could have said this from the first sentence that you had said. I am so proud of you. First of all, so strong, so incredibly strong, Sam. And how you have evolved in a year and how you stand stronger, being so dang confident in your faith, your family, and your journey of who you are and like what makes you tick. You glow completely different in such a beautiful way. You have always been beautiful. You have always been an incredible inspiration. But like, I just have to tell you, I feel so blessed to have you on this and talk about your journey because going through something like that, and like you said, you felt like you hit rock bottom, but to take one foot in front of the other, lean in on what matters the most and, you know, bringing your children in tighter, allowing people in your business to flourish when it was the hardest for you, and then just taking day by day, and you're becoming it. This is incredible.
Thank you.
And I agree. And when you say I smile differently and I can see it, I literally from head to toe have the chills down my whole body. It is such a beautiful thing that has come from, you know, something not so great, but it is beautiful. So you should be very, very proud.
And it's nothing to say that it was anything on him. It was a darkness that we created together. I can only ever hope the best for him, and I pray that and I hope that he has his glow and his happiness. I mean, it's never easy to let go of an 18-year relationship, but I am trying to find solitude in the season and in that path. And knowing that there is something greater for me. I have gone through so many things in the last year, and I'm ever so thankful for it. I think once I flipped my mindset to being, you know, in fight or flight and truly being able to find myself going out with friends and absorbing my hobby farm and riding the horses and picking up shooting bow and being able to maintenance a 12-acre farm by myself for an entire year.
I told you, strong. That's what I'm going to look at you. That is my word for you. I know you said perseverance, which is so exactly part of that, but strength, girl.
Thank you.
I love that. You are, you know, bleep this out if you need to, but badass.
Oh, you're so sweet.
I love it.
It's definitely been a journey, and I mean, even through venturing into the dating world. Oh, goodness.
That's another podcast.
Bless everyone's soul. But there's something to be said for that. Like, you become an independent. Like, I already feel like I was independent. And I feel like I was having to do everything and be consumed by all and run a lot of different things by myself and solo, that I was becoming this masculine, feminine woman. And I have really thrusted myself into the more feminine version. I swear I wear skirts or dresses every day now. And I'm embracing it and loving it. And I think that's been something interesting and hard for some of the guys that I went out on dates with, for me to be like, I don't need you. I would want you. And there's a complete and utter difference between that. If I want you in my life, that's something special. Absolutely. And that goes for friendships, that goes for anything. And we talked briefly about boundaries, but This last year has taught me an insane amount of boundaries. I mean, I have an amazing girlfriend, Kayla, who has been by my side and my rock the entire time. And she has also been through her own journey. And there was times when I would send her a message and be like, Kayla, what do you think of this? And she's like, no, why do you need to say that? You don't need to say that. That girl has taught me so much about boundaries.
I think everyone needs someone like that in their life. Yeah. And someone who struggles with boundaries, those closest to me, I oftentimes will, from a 30,000 foot view, analyze where I could do better with boundaries, but also be like, hey, you, we all need that friend, or to be that friend to someone.
Sometimes you have to go through those experiences and have your boundaries be breached in order for you to be like, okay, I didn't like that. I didn't like how it felt. So I think I need to do that a little different next time.
I know so many listeners may be quietly walking through something hard right now, holding everything together but unsure of what's next. What would you say to them? What advice would you give them?
Give yourself grace.
Mic drop. I think that is the hardest in so many different phases of our life is literally grace.
Giving yourself grace and knowing that this too shall pass.
I love that.
There is a new season ahead. There is something greater on the other side. And if you just be patient, everyone always told me in the beginning to surrender. Sam, just surrender. Just give it to God and he will take care of you. And there were so many times I'm like, I surrender. I surrender. Give it to me. And I truly had not fully surrendered. I think as that business owner, as that mom, we want to have that grip on it and we want to be in control and we feel like we need to take care of it. And it truly wasn't until a lot of self-reflection, giving myself grace, surrendering, and living for the day.
Oh my goodness.
Don't live for yesterday.
Yes.
Yesterday's gone. Yesterday's in the history books. You need to live for today. And if you're already focused on tomorrow, what are you doing to yourself?
I agree with that.
So,
that's a hard thing for me as someone being so futuristic too.
Right.
Thinking about what you just said there, I actually, over the last year in a different way, went through a little bit of a roller coaster in a business journey. And when you said, I surrender and give it to God, I got the chills again, because that is something last year made me dig into so many things about who I was, what personal things I could do differently and take every day for what it's worth. As a futuristic thinker, I think so far ahead by nature, but it was doing me no good in this season that I was in. So going through something, it was a tougher year and for different reasons. And I just found myself saying, Lindsey, you've got to give it to God. You're giving this your absolute all. You're doing everything you can, whether that's on a personal or professional level. You need to just, I love that, surrender. And sometimes it's literally just mean like, I felt myself go, like take a deep breath, like shoulders, like release all the damn anxiety, release it. That's not doing me any good. Release it, and what do you have in front of you that A, you can control, and B, that you have surrounding yourself with love and friendship and the values that matter to you.
Yeah.
And then just being present in the moment is what really turned it around for me, which has led me to be a much stronger. I've always been independent as well, but I've been absolutely more confident in what brings me joy, the values that I'm going to hold real strong to. And as a business, the economy at the moment is still all over the place, but I just feel stronger. And I think that is the best advice that I think we could give is sometimes you hold on so tight, you have unanswered questions. I think you just need to take a step back, sit down and breathe and surrender.
I think once you do that too, you have to realize what it teaches your children.
I love that.
Because a lot of times we forget that they're watching us. They're watching our every move. They're watching how we react, how we respond to things. I used to be a very brash, I'll call it, reactor. And I feel like I caught myself yesterday at a soccer game. There was, bless this mom, a friend sitting next to me. She was like, her child was whining. And she goes, do you ever get that at home? And I was like, no. And I was like, but mine are older And I caught myself being the old Sam and being like, oh, I wouldn't put up with it. And then I'm like, no, ground myself, put myself back on the ground, because sometimes that is also hard to hear.
Sure.
And what does that mean as a mom to say, well, I just wouldn't put up with it?
Yep.
I used to be when I was so much more brash, that would have been my response. And so now for me to pause, reflect with my kids. My son is very much a feeler and more emotionally like outward, but he holds it in. And I see a lot of how I used to be in him, like holding it back, holding it in, suppressing it, and then he'd have his like moment in silence. Whereas now I just try to embrace my children. Definitely learn your kids' love languages.
Oh, that's good advice.
We talk love languages as adults, but have you truly thought about your child's love language? Because once you look at that and how they need to be loved and how they need to be communicated with, your parenting journey, I promise you, will be transformed. It is insane. So the moment that I step back, I give him a moment to decompress, to let that rise, come down, and then I embrace him and hug him and we get to talk it out. It is
a game changer.
Game changer. So for me to tell that mom like, oh, I don't put up with it, that's the old Sam.
Sure.
The new Sam is definitely more patient, and I take a lot of it more with grace and just knowing that if I take their love language into consideration, it's a night and day difference for parenting.
Now, overall, you've been on quite the journey over the last year. I'm sure you get a lot of questions of people asking how you do it all. What is your honest response now compared to even before? How do you do it all now?
One day at a time.
There you go.
One foot in front of the other. A year ago, one of the girls at the salons who has just been, and Leanna has been amazing, literally looked at me when all of this happened and said, how are you going to do it? And I made a post about that as well. And I literally just looked at her and said, I'll let you know when I do it. And I met that in a totally different context for other than what happened today. Managing 3 salons, knowing that all my independents are so capable and so fierce and powerful themselves and worthy of so much. And then knowing that I have my 3 kids, I'm going to lead by example, running the hobby farm, but also just taking on what I can take. There are things I might not get back to a client today. And
It's not the end of the world.
If they can't grace me for that, then I am really sorry. I might not be your person.
There you go.
I am in a new season, and there are things that just need a little bit more of my priority than others.
Well, you definitely created something so beautiful. And it's not just in business, but in the life that you're rebuilding. What does the next chapter look like for Sam?
It's so crazy to think of the next chapter because I've been living so much in the moment, which I thoroughly am enjoying.
Yes.
It will definitely be, I'm in what I'm calling my repair season. So it's definitely a repair. There's some things with the salons that we're working on repairing, just picking up after being absent, I'll call it, in the last year. And just there's going to be moments of repair, working through co-parenting and dealing with all of that on our new journey as a family. So I'm really excited about the future. I've met someone that brings a whole new light to my life right now. My kids will always be my light, and my businesses will always come first. But it is so crazy that when you are in the depths of it, to think of someone making you feel
amazing,
like you are on cloud 9, or that
and you deserve that. Anybody deserves that.
I would agree. It just, you get so lost in the moment, and there are just things with this man that I feel like I dreamt, and I was like, I'm gonna have a man that opens my door and has all this chivalry, and I went on so many dates, and I'm like, this is just never gonna happen. I'm super excited about this new path. Awesome. Whether or not it's just for the moment or for longer, who knows? But I'm going to thoroughly enjoy it for the time being. So my next season is still pouring into the kids, continuing to grow the businesses and getting them through this repair season, and then really continuing to find and flourish who I am, and knowing that I am not going to go back to the darkness. There will be seasons of darkness. I don't doubt that through the rest of my life. I'm going to live for another 100 years. No, I'm just kidding. But I think truly continuing to embrace who I am and not allowing others and their opinions to influence my path and my future.
You might have just answered this, but to kind of end this, I want something like a strong statement. What are you most proud of today, but something that you never imagined you'd be able to say out loud prior to today? Something you're most proud of.
Is it sad to say that as a mom, of course, I want to tell or say that I'm so proud of my kids? Of course, right?
Absolutely.
I'm a mom.
Yep, absolutely.
The new Sam is going to tell you that I would tell anybody, and I am so insanely proud of myself.
Oh, that got me choked up, and I want to hug you.
Oh, you're so sweet. The depths that the Sam that I was, the Samantha that I was a year ago, and to who I am today, I am insanely proud of her and for all that I've accomplished and made my way through in the darkness and being able to pull myself through. There are times in your life that we all contemplate maybe never being around, right? Mm-hmm. And I went through a lot of those depths and darknesses, and yes, my children pulled me through. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it was myself that chose to not live there, to not stay there, and to continue to rise and to grow.
Samantha, thank you for sharing your story so openly. What you've built and rebuilt is such a powerful reminder to us all that even when life doesn't go the way we imagined, sometimes the detour leads us right to where we're meant to be. To our listeners, here are a few things I hope you carry from today's conversation. You don't have to do it all the way someone else does. You are wired uniquely, and your way is enough. Give yourself permission to begin again. Starting over doesn't mean you failed. It means you're brave. Don't underestimate the power of leading with your heart, even when it's heavy. You can find Samantha and Pure Bliss on Instagram. What is your Instagram handle?
Samantha Ann.
And give her a follow and let her know if any of this resonated with you. As always, thank you for tuning in to Leveling Up with Lindsey. Until next time, keep growing, keep rising, and keep showing up. Thank you for listening. If you found this information helpful, please share it with a friend. If you're looking for more information on the topics we covered, please head to the show notes below. And if you wouldn't mind leaving a 5-star rating and review, this would help this mission and our journey to get started. Let's make today and every day an opportunity to level up. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep striving, and keep making a difference.